Welcome to day 115. So happy that you can join me here in the Concord Vaughan Regional GTA Ontario Sanctuary Manhole. I just love it. Thank you for sharing this moment, and in addition to your presence, that I'm honored that you will join me from the many probable possibilities and back into the present moment of the nothingness point of reference. How can the self engineer itself into the one? The wisdom in this energy that the physical body holds is most importantly and the first step in the process to experience from learning to transform and the long-lasting effects of trauma. These are many body-oriented practices that can connect intimately between the physical structure and yoga of the body's reactions and its thoughts, as well as the emotions that the self can feel. And take a moment now to find your point of reference, this centermost place. And right where the heart is, right there. Place of magnetism where everything comes back to whence it came from. And take a few deep breaths and really expand by breathing in, and trust that you can surrender into the depths of expansion from your diaphragm and release with every breath. Exhaling inward and out. And as we begin today with this affirmation, I hope that you can find a connection to resonate with in activating. And I'm glad that I can help to guide you through these many lessons in this audio visual recordings, because some of them are also found on iCloud. You can also join me there on iCloud as well as Patreon. And with that said, we can begin with lesson 100. My body can fully awaken to its physical experience, and I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. And just breathe that in for a moment. My body can fully awaken to its physical experience, and I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. My body can fully awaken to its physical experience, and I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. On a cognitive thinking level, it is encouraged and to connect the focus mindfully on the somatic experience by helping to reduce the impact of emotional distress. The focus, however, is on the spirit and how it metaphysically combines its glow, its essence of itself, from within the physical connection to the body and its manifested outcomes. This combination can be found in figure 8-like motion that can interact with from the soul within the inner and outer spherical impression of its world, today, the first thing the self can do, and before starting off the day, is to stretch completely as it would, and instead of getting up, take the moment to just feel and be. What did the physical body feel like before and after it completely extended with a stretch? Did the stretch feel like a relief or broken up into areas of pain? Any pain or discomfort anywhere? Address the pain and stretch or tense it in that area, and with focused breath. Unless the focus is on the kind of movement to position with yoga body poses and that require the pulling of tendons and ligaments. Ultimately, the tensing and the stretching of the body are one and the same. My body can fully awaken to its physical experience and I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. For the purpose of this Reed's book, in the reading of this book, it is in the breath. And that makes the difference with this practice. To focus and not be distracted by the many other disciplines of yoga, tantric even moves, yoga tantric moves, / tantric moves. It's a more advanced, very simple rule to follow here on your own. Now you can do it with a partner if you'd like as well, and and how synergistically in harmony to the alignment of the bond. However, we are here as one. Very simple rule to follow here. When tensing, breathe in, and when stretching, breathe out. And the antagonist muscles will feel the stretch as the others will feel the tension. And as the other muscles feel the tension, the others will feel the stretch. Okay? This focus and then stretch out. And the tensing aspect, and within this process, is better practiced at the end of the day. You can break this up into segments and just focus on the breathing in. And then untense and relax as you breathe out. And the stretching part would be a better focus before the day gets started, as we have already. However, more complex is the alternative combination of the both, even better. That's when we start getting into yoga. And in this way, and wherever the tension is felt, it can be better with, and when more relaxed to start the day with, and or it might completely go in reverse to agitate it further. So if it's something that could be a reverse in agitating some kind of pain or injury, then you do it in the opposite way of just tensing and then relaxing. And as you breathe in, you just tense and then relax your whole body and focus on that place where it might feel hurt. And just tense and relax. And you could find that you might need further permission by your physician or other medical experts in the beginning until you can find your way into trusting your higher self. And where it might be already feel the discomfort and tensing or stretching can result in further damage, just breathe in and out. Just breathe in and just focus out on that area. So where that area of trauma is then, just imagine little openings like mouthpieces, breathing in and out instead of tensing and or the stretching aspects of it, because you don't want to create further complications if that's the case. However, do sample and see how far you can get your feet wet in this. Just do a little bit of a test and see how far you can go with it. It's as simple as breathing. See how far you can go with that in the beginning. How deep can your breaths of taking in the breath, how deep can you allow yourself to trust and surrender? And the deeper the breaths and less shallow, you'll experience a relief of any kind of pain. So this exercise can also be broken up with just tensing by breathing in and then releasing the tension by breathing out. And with the morning exercises, you can alternate depending on what resonates best for you. And stretch the area of concern. Take the time to breathe in on the release and then breathe out with every stretch. Then relax again by breathing out. After doing so, and with any of these combinations, what is the intention of the day? Maybe this is a perfect base to get familiarized with the experience of yoga. And it will help guide you along through any yogic practices. And further, classes and coaches, you'll just be resonating with it even more and comfortable and fitting in this way once you acknowledge these first basic steps. And the intention of the day, what are the many things that the self has contracted out and mentally to task itself throughout this day and prioritize them? So after doing and while doing this is a way of meditation and combining meditation with movement and breathing and focusing on what you would desire to have accomplished throughout the day, or these many things that you have committed yourself or your priorities, focus on what the self feels to accomplish. And from it all, feel these accomplishments or the many tasks towards this process, the baby steps, if you will. And with that said, this affirmation for the day. My body can feel fully awakened to its physical experience. And I can connect to this consciousness of being. My body fully and can fully awaken to its physical experience. And I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. See it visually within the mind and think it, how it feels How does it feel? Your body to fully awaken to its physical experience and feel, can it connect it to this consciousness of your own being? And continuation to pages 345 and 46 from The Sovereign Light, A Course in Metaphysical Spirituality. And I am your guide, Reverend Maria Arvanitidis. So think it differently until it feels best. In that way, get up and start the day. So we're stretching, we're breathing, we're tensing, we're visualizing, we're letting go. And today's lesson will connect with the next and to experience completely this idea. It involves firstly to come around full circle into the next day. From lesson 100 to lesson 101. And for this level of awareness and to sample in this mode of practice exercise. So we're smoothly combining several practices to feel what it's like to come into the oneness. By becoming one with the body of awareness is this movement of breath. And within the motion of its life force, where the body feels the pain, it can be released, and through common body movement practices. Sometimes things need strengthening, and the first steps to this strengthening is focusing on the attention as this practice offers, helping you guide through this. Energy blockages or whatever have you that requires perhaps the antagonist muscle or the other muscle, supporting muscle, needs strengthening, or it's not the underlying issue of the main pain and where it's coming from. Perhaps it's not being supported enough by its surroundings that need further strengthening. So are you getting me? It might not just be that area of the pain. That might be where it ends from the nerves, like sciatic or something like this. And it might be pinching somewhere else that's creating it. So these distortions we have to clear. We have to release whatever's the pressure is there. What other surrounding circumstances might be causing it that might need strengthening, that this pain is alerting from their weakness. This takes a lot of remote viewing to help, and everything comes together and the more we practice. But firstly, we must become aware. That's the first step, is enlightenment. And the exercise is designed to connect with the physical body and in a different kind of methodology, resilience, to intend upon. With some neurological relief, perhaps. The connection to the emotional body is the focus of awareness, and that from a soul's perspective level, before it goes into the physical of actual impediments of not being able to move certain parts because of the pain. And with some neurological relief, perhaps, to be found within the physical body and this practice of communicating between sensations. And just breathe that in for a moment. There could be a million tiny little facets interweaved into this creation of this thought and purpose of intention that created the pain that is the symptom. The focus is to imprint upon the soul's recording with intention and what it is the self might be wishing to experience within its external world of circumstances. And you can always go back to the practices of what are these pains and energetic blockages or traumas, what stories they might have, and just listen in by feeling. And you can refer back to a meditation that I believe was lesson 81. And when the day is done, the following practice will be the experience to prepare for just before settling in for bed, and then upon awakening might be a good practice to write it down. So now we're going to be using this journaling in method. So after the day is done from this lesson, the following practice will be the experience to prepare for the next lesson. And just before settling in for bed and upon awakening, tense the body and then release it, as mentioned previously, and then just do an intake of how the day was processed. Because it's all about the tension that was created throughout the day. And as we do this, we can breathe in as we tense and then breathe out. Or you can try it in the alternative way of breathing in, and then as you release, just tense. Either way, you're going to have to relax eventually, right? So, tense as you're breathing in, and then relax as you're breathing out. Were the intentions well met throughout the day, and were there any unresolved situations? My body can fully awaken to its physical experience, and I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. Get into a dreamlike state, and then focus on the intention and or whatever concern the self might want to experience playing out. Any questions or concerns must be addressed and can be written down on paper before entering into a trance. Whatever was to probably reenact within the awakened state can possibly end in this way, to instead be experienced within the dream state. A rehearsal, or perhaps as many as the self prefers. And just like a rehearsal, but it doesn't have to be reenacted during conscious awareness in exactly the same way. It can be resolved in whatever way that you prefer the variation to learn from during your waking state. Everything is a study. And the purpose is to find where the energy can be noticed as stuck and within the physical body, as well as hindering the self from its physical world. With breath, thought of intention, and movement, the way the self is feeling can help better clear and guide through the day. Whatever regrets throughout the day can be reenacted differently and resolved from within the soul perspective, rather than karmically be mistaken for and in the physical world as its circumstances. Echoed into its reality. That is the symptom of its thoughts and creations while sleeping. And before I leave you with the affirmation for the day, just take into consideration the connection of lesson 101 to this lesson today of 100, and day 115 and how it connects to day 116. In the morning, you will be asked certain questions. And what pertaining you written down, and what feelings you can recall, emotional upsets. From the main idea before sleeping, you have an intention. And has anything changed? The point of view from that concern, whatever it was, whatever questions you might have had that you've written down in your journal before going to sleep, whatever you visualized that you wanted some further guidance or awareness on, what kind of circumstances, regrets throughout the day that you had from yesterday that could be done differently, and where you felt stuck and procrastinating, and whatever it is you require answers that you haven't already to certain situations and how they might unravel. Just focus on most basic, simple, not too many, just like maybe one. Prioritize what concern. Let's say you have an elderly parent that just had a stroke or something like that, and you want to just visualize, are they going to make it? Or you had someone who is not feeling so good, or just whatever you need to remotely view, whatever concerns you have, just ask the question and see if it gets answered. And whatever you can't see right now in this moment, or whatever has been played out or is going to play out, and see what you get. And that's what the next day will be. And I will leave you with this thought, this affirmation, so that you can be in full awareness and activated throughout the day. And remember, the first step is awareness, acknowledging in this process. Are you with me? Sounds good? I welcome you. You can repeat or just think and listen. My body can fully awaken to its physical experience. And I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. My body can fully awaken to its physical experience, and I can feel connected to this consciousness of being. My body can fully awaken to its physical experience, and I can feel connected to this consciousness of being.